Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. And in this update, we are going to check out Ondo's price chart and see what might be the next likely move in short term. But before we get into all that, as per usual, we are going to spend the first couple of minutes of every update talking about fundamentals. And in last week, we actually got a bunch of announcements that basically point to all one thing. RWA tokenization is speeding up at the moment, and big traditional players are finally moving from testing to actually launching real products. So, since Ondo sits right in the middle of this trend, I think these updates actually matter for the long-term outlook for us, and we should actually pay very much attention to them. That's why we are going to, in today's update, talk about three very important articles. And the first one is going to be this New York Fed analysis saying that financial instruments on open permissionless blockchains can reach a global audience without any borders. And this, in my view, is quite significant because it's actually a very important signal showing that central bank researchers fully understand why public blockchains, like for instance maybe Ethereum, maybe Solana, maybe a couple of others, they have an edge over closed systems. And for Ondo, this actually lines up with what they have been doing starting from day one. You see, their tokenized funds already run on public chains. So this is essentially, in my view, confirming that they picked the right foundation from day one, and in the long term, they are actually going to benefit from this quite a bit. So this was the first important article, and if you got time, I would highly suggest to just give it a read yourself. I think you are going to find a lot of fascinating points on it. Now, the second important news that we got in last week was actually this thing right in here, which is Ondo investing about $25 million into Figure's yield-bearing stablecoins, aka YLDS. And in my view, this is actually a bit of a strategic move that upgrades the structure of OUSG in a few ways. Number one, this is going to add more than just one simple source of yield. Number two, I think this is going to bring more regulatory clarity since YLDS is actually SEC registered. Okay, it's very important to understand this. And number three, I believe this is going to build a stronger connection between Ondo and Figure. These are two very important and major players when it comes to RWA, and to see them teaming up, in my view, is definitely a very strong positive sign. So overall, I do think this is going to make OUSG more resilient and also more appealing for institutions that want on-chain United States Treasury exposure. And I do believe that they are going to, because of just this thing, attract a whole lot more adoption. Now, my final important article that I want to talk about in today's update is this. Amundi launches a tokenized money market fund. And in case you don't know, Amundi is actually the largest asset manager in Europe, and they are finally launching a tokenized share of their money market fund. And this, in my view, is like one of the clearest signals yet that tokenization funds are not really just experiments anymore. No, they are becoming, at quite a bit of a rapid pace, I would say, actual products for major institutions, and we have already seen similar moves from BlackRock and also Franklin Templeton. So for Ondo, I do think that this is actually quite positive because a bigger market probably means much more liquidity, better infrastructure, and also more attention on tokenized treasuries, which is the same segment that Ondo entered very much early. And again, I don't really believe that all the adoption is going to go towards Ondo's way, but as the market gets bigger and bigger and bigger, I think more participants are going to look at the tech. And since I do think Ondo does actually have superior technology relative to a lot of other projects, I do think they are going to overall attract a fair amount of adoption, but again, definitely not all the adoption. So as my conclusion, I think all these announcements point toward one simple direction. Tokenization is becoming very much real, and traditional finance is finally building on public blockchain infrastructure. And for Ondo, again, this strengthens the long-term case, and it doesn't really mean that the price is going to explode overnight. In fact, let me just say this, it absolutely doesn't mean that the price is going to do something because of these articles. No, definitely not. But in my opinion, this does actually mean that the sector Ondo is operating is actually getting more and more serious, more regulated, and much, much larger. And of course, competition again is absolutely growing. Big names like, for example, Amundi and BlackRock, they are now in the game. But the whole market expanding is ultimately, in my view, good for any early players with real products, which includes, you know the name, it is called Ondo. So overall, I do think these are actually positive news that we should care about if you care about the fundamentals of your projects. Now, why do we care about fundamentals? Because there is a chance that we're not really going to have like that much of an explosive alt season in the cycle. And if we are going to have, let's say, a version of alt season, I think the projects that are going to participate in it are going to be the ones with solid fundamentals. That's why I actually do believe that Ondo is going to perform quite well in the coming months relative to BTC. Now, having said all that, let's go on the live chart and see what is happening, because the price, I'm going to say at least in the short term, definitely tells a whole different story. You see, if you remember, the last time that we talked about Ondo, we were, I think, right around these areas, and the idea was that, well, okay, this can be 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up into wave 3, and we were like, well, okay, we have to be able to identify in here a correction structure for 4, followed by another move up into wave 5. If we get this thing, it is going to be a very, very bullish sign. Why? Because in terms of Elliott's waves, if you want to argue that we have hit the lows, then okay, off of the lowest slope, guess what? You have to be able to find a 5-8 on the upside, and instead, from here, we didn't really get a move up. Instead, we got a bit of a strong move, I would say, on the downside. And if I just hide everything, as you can see, in this face down in Ondo, right in here, we did not take the lowest low about, let's say, 44.3 cents. So what's the deal here? You see, in my view, you can sort of kind of argue that maybe this is like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up, and maybe this is going to be an ABC, although I do think this is actually a bit of 5 wave. But again, let's be a bit optimistic. Well, even if you want to be optimistic, I'm not really sure if I have good news for you, because even according to the most optimistic scenario, odds are from the lowest low in Ondo, we're just having the subwaves for an ABC on the upside, and this might be 5 wave down, followed by, let's say, even in the short term, we are going to get a bit of a bounce, and that, in my view, is probably going to be into the C leg of this ABC. And then in an ideal scenario, I actually want to see another move on the downside in Ondo. Now, is this move going to be a bad sign? I'll be honest with you, not necessarily. Why is that? Because in terms of classic technical analysis, meaning support and resistances, in my view, in Ondo, we do have like a very strong area of support from weekly and daily time frame at the same time, and the lower band of it is about, let's say, 41.5, and the higher band of it is about 48.5 cents. And I'm really hoping that we are going to get our bounce, our final bounce from this important level. So if we end up having maybe like another 10-15% move on the downside, overall, even at that point, this support is not really going to be broken. It's very important to understand. Right now, all I care is this very strong support area, and if we break it, it doesn't necessarily mean that Ondo is going to just have like a 50% fall. No, it just means that the recovery phase is actually going to take some time, because let's say, okay, in Ondo we are going to go down and we're going to break this level, then okay, odds are the next time that we're going to have a bounce and touch this level, it's actually going to act as a resistance area, meaning we're going to get a rejection off of it in form of hopefully even according to an optimistic scenario, a correction structure. And again, this whole choppy process is going to take some time, and it is going to be really annoying. But for now, since we're not there yet, let's just say this. In Ondo, there is a chance that maybe we have hit the lows, and maybe this is going to be like a truncated final wave down, and on a higher degree, we're gonna have like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if this scenario is in play, then okay, in the next 72 hours, in an ideal scenario, we want to see a very strong bounce actually, followed by a pullback, and then another move on the upside. As long as I'm not seeing this, I'm actually going to be a bit more patient and maybe even expect like another move on the downside. And trust me, by the way, I forgot to tell you this, if we get this thing, I'm going to take advantage of it big time, and I'm going to buy the dip quite a bit in Ondo as we are going lower and lower and lower, because again, I do think this is a project with solid fundamentals, and I do think by the end of this cycle it is going to appreciate quite a bit. So why not buy the dip and just simply wait until we get the move up that we all deserve. So overall, we may see another move down, but generally it's not necessarily going to be that much of a big deal. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on those chart. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.